This is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our WCW Retro Pay-Per-View review series. This is going to be WCW Starrcade 1995. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, man. Let's get into it. I said this off camera a little while ago. Why is it that this is your, and I'll use WWE's catchphrase for this. This is your granddaddy of them all in WCW, Starrcade, at the end of the year. Your
I
big,
think it
big
is.
pay-per-view. This
It
is
should
your
be.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, Bischoff says that it was Halloween Havoc, but I mean, Halloween Havoc,
No, I
well, it
don't
was
think so.
cool, but
It was.
Starrcade was the one with the real history behind, like
I
the,
would
the
say
Rock
Halloween
one.
Havoc had the best
Yeah,
stage
stage
setup.
setup. Yeah.
But as far as their
It
biggest
was
card of the
Starrcade. Yeah,
year, it was
Starrcade was the
Starrcade.
one that began everything. Yeah,
I mean, if you don't
it's
agree,
not
look at Hogan and Sting in '97.
right. Yeah,
Even though
yeah,
they crapped on the
right.
whole thing, let's not get into it.
Right.
So to do something like this, I mean, back in '89, '90, they did a whole round robin thing with tag teams and their one on one. I didn't like that back then either, at least not for that pay per view. This card, they were having WCW versus New Japan in a
Right.
best of seven series.
Right. Which I mean,
It's not bad.
no, it's not. There was just no build up to it. Like they were mentioning it on the Nitros, I remember, because we reviewed them. They were mentioning it, but there was no build to it. It just kind
No.
of they just throw them in there, and you're not really like emotionally involved in it, in the story or anything. You're just like, okay, the matches weren't bad. These
No.
guys could work. It's just
Yes.
there was no build to it. There was no.
Only one match, and that was Sting versus Kensuke Sasaki because
That wasn't a
Sasaki
great match.
earlier on in the year took the U.S. title off of him.
Right.
So he was the U.S. champion going into this match, and he got paired against Sting
Right.
again.
Right.
So
Right.
besides that, you had the triangle match to determine the number one contender for the title, and then right after that, you had the WCW title match. Two of the guys in the triangle match were pulling double duty. If they win that match, they're pulling triple duty because they're
Mhm.
also in the best of seven
Right.
as well. So here we go. Let's kick it off with match number one, and I'll do New Japan's first, and then I'll do WCW so everybody knows who's who. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Chris Benoit. And I love how Sonny Ono is coming down. He manages all these guys.
He's there. He's there for everything. Yeah.
I
And he
love
had the
Sonny
deal.
Ono. He is so
Sonny
fun.
was cool, and he had that deal with
But
Bobby.
Bobby.
With Bobby, yeah,
And then he's like, I'm gonna buy WCW.
yeah.
Hmm.
But
Please do make it better.
yeah, Bischoff was doing the talent exchange with New Japan at the time, and he thought it was good to make WCW more, like a worldwide brand. I understand why he did what he did. Like, I get it. It's just, but
But we actually have
uh,
that going on now. With AEW is working with New Japan.
right.
They're doing their talent exchange.
Yeah.
WWE is doing it with TNA. So it's good to do that, and then you see guys in matches that you haven't seen. So I mean, I always thought that was a good idea to do it. Imagine if WWE and WCW would have just let their guard down for 5 minutes and put on a mega
Mhm.
pay per view back in the day. The amount of
Yeah.
money they would have made off of it would have just been
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah.
there's no way neither one of those guys would have been able
No,
to work it out.
no,
My guy wins. No, my
no.
guy wins. Yeah, Bischoff and McMahon they wound up beating each other up in the
Mhm.
boardroom. So, with any event, during this match, Kevin Sullivan came down. You want to this is for that Worldwide Cup of Wrestling, and you want your guys in your organization to win their matches. Yet Sullivan comes down on his own personal agenda with Benoit, and he distracts him, and Liger hits a Hurricane and gets the pin, and now New Japan is up 1-0. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Damn it.
I know. After that, Mean Gene Oakland interviewed Eddie Guerrero. Eddie was so honored to be part of this. He wasn't going to let WCW down. Yes, you will. And he was going to give all the fans all the effort he could. And I love this Eddie Guerrero back then. This is the
Yeah.
guy he could really, really wrestle at
hmm
this point. Not saying he couldn't when he, later on in the WWE. He could
He got a
still
lot
do
bigger,
it.
but he got a lot physically bigger. He couldn't really move the same. He was still a great wrestler, but
Yeah,
this was
as a
this was like,
cruiserweight, though, he's phenomenal.
yeah. This is high flying. Like he was very lean.
Yep.
hmm
And his match will be actually coming up later on the card. The next match on the card was Koji Kanemoto versus Alex Wright,
That's one of the
and
punk.
as Bobby would put it,
It was a botch. Did you catch that botch in this match when they did the double drop kick and nobody hit anybody?
Yeah, there was more than one.
Yeah.
That was one of them, but there was a
Yeah.
few that they were a second behind, or these guys didn't like study and
Yeah.
work with each
And that's
other.
the problem is that these guys don't know each other. They're not used to working with each other night in and night out, like on the house show circuit and other places.
And I'm sure they couldn't get together prior and go, okay,
No,
this is what we're gonna
there was no
do.
time. Yeah. Yeah.
So unfortunately, Kanimoto rolled up right for the pin. But even before that, there was lots of high flying moves in this
Hmm.
match. These guys put it all out there. Alex Wright was a great,
He was awesome.
great.
Great
He was a
worker.
good wrestler. Just never give it. And I've said this in other reviews.
Berlin,
Just never.
you didn't like Berlin?
Oh my god. Just never given the right direction. Unfortunately. So Kanimoto wins. Now New
Man,
Japan is up 2-0.
yeah, it's not looking good.
No, it isn't. Following that, Mean Gene interviewing Sonny Ono, who I love this guy. This character was so cool. And that is where he's like, maybe I buy WCW. And Mean Gene's like, get the hell out of here. And he goes, and where's my
You know,
wallet?
you know what's interesting about this is one of the situations where like the heels are baby faces.
Yeah,
Like
pretty
like
much.
everybody on Team WCW is basically like is the crowd is behind them because they're in the US. So everyone's cheering for WCW. So it's
And
interesting.
you have a few heels
Hmm.
fighting this, like Lex Luger,
Hmm.
but Luger is not doing his Dungeon of Doom skit. Luger is there for
Yeah.
WCW and acting like
Hmm.
Lex Luger
Right, right, which was cool.
until later. Okay, next match on the card was Lex Luger, Masahiro Chono versus Lex
Yeah.
Luger.
When does he go out there? But that's later on. I'm mixing. I just saw this. He tells Jimmy Hart to stay in the locker room, right? That's later on.
Yeah,
And he has that pro. Okay.
yeah, no Jimmy Hart here.
Mm.
Um, this was actually a pretty good match between two heavyweights, and of course we would see Chono later on in WCW, part of the New World Order when they brought them in as well. Chono was really good. Just another guy that once he got to the WCW just was underutilized, not brought out to his potential. In New Japan, this guy's a freaking star,
Hmm.
and just brought here and just mid card level matches, and I thought that wasn't right because I've seen his matches on YouTube, and it was just amazing what he can do. And in this match, Chono applied the STF to Luger, which is one of his finishers, but Luger grabbed the rope to get out of it. If he didn't, they're down 3-zip. Luger got Chono in the torture rack and got the submissions. Now WCW is on the board. It's 2-1 in favor of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Following that, Mean Gene interviewed Sting about the upcoming thing. Now, what's funny is Sting is in the seventh match.
Yeah.
He's the final match. Now, by then, this could already be over,
Yeah.
or he's the deciding match. So we don't
Hmm.
know. Either way, they are going to do all 7 matches, even if New Japan wins all the
Right.
rest
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
them.
Hmm.
But I love how they say this is a 4 out of 7 for the cup, but yet you're going to
Hmm.
do all 7 at
Yeah.
that point.
It should be noted that the reason why Hogan isn't on the real reason why Hogan is not on this pay-per-view is that he already wrestled all his dates for that year. So that's
At this
pretty much
point,
it.
storyline wise, he's suspended.
He's suspended. Yeah.
He's not allowed to play with the big boys until
Right.
January 1.
Right. Right. But the real story is that he already wrestled the dates in his contract, so that was it. Which kind of like hurts the pay-per-view in a way. I mean,
Yeah, because seeing Hogan on this card
hmm
in this series would have been great.
yeah.
So next match on the card was Masa Saito, and we've seen this guy before many times in WCW and NWA, WWE versus Johnny B. Bad. And this match itself was pretty decent. Before the match, Sonny Ono said Kimberly should be at home. She said this ain't no bathhouse. I don't know what that means, but okay. But she should be home cooking. I thought she was going to lay him out. To be honest, I was waiting for it,
He
but
probably could have.
we didn't.
She was pretty athletic.
Oh, she could kick his butt. No
Yeah.
kidding. No question about it. So Sonny Ono used the Japanese flag during this match to choke Bad out while the ref wasn't looking. Go figure. Saito then threw Bad over the top rope, unfortunately, and was disqualified. This is where this stupid rule gets played into effect. It benefits them, but I don't understand why they still have it into
I don't
effect.
know.
This is the dumbest thing you could ever do. And how many times we've seen a match on a Clash or a pay per view where somebody gets thrown over the top rope and the ref does nothing? So I don't know, man. They pick and choose when they want to use it.
And they want to enforce it.
Well, they're doing it now because Johnny B. Bad wins by disqualification. We're tied up at 2. Following that, Mean Gene interviewed Lex Luger and Jimmy Hart. This
Hmm.
was not about the cup. This was about the Triangle number one contenders match later on. Lex Luger, Sting, and Ric Flair to go see who goes on to face the Macho Man Randy Savage. So next match on the card in this World Cup of Wrestling was Shinjiro Otani versus Eddie Guerrero. And I'm telling you what, man, you cannot say anything bad about Eddie Guerrero losing this match. I mean, he wrestled like this was the seventh and
Hmm.
deciding
Yeah, yeah,
match. All those pin reversals that they did
yeah. This
actually
was good
woke the
stuff.
crowd up.
It did, it did, it did.
I
That's what I'm
wanted to see
saying. That
this
the matches
rematch
are
in
not.
'95.
That's what I'm saying.
Excuse
The
me, in
match.
'96.
Some of the work is really good. It's just that
It is.
there was no real storyline behind it. But yeah.
No, because pretty much after this, these guys go back. They're not going to see each
Hmm.
other again for a while, if anything.
Hmm.
And I'm sure some of these guys worked with each other when they
Yeah,
were in
yeah.
New Japan,
Hmm.
but it's been a minute. But all the pin reversals until finally Otani rolled up Guerrero on one pin that Guerrero could not reverse, and Otani gets the pin and the
Yeah.
victory over him. And
You can
now
see
New Japan is up 3-2.
you can see Guerrero was disappointed. Like he really wanted to win.
Yeah, he wanted to put them up 3-2 so
Hmm.
that the next match would clinch it.
Hmm.
And of course, in the next match we got Macho Man, which again I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Injured,
Uh,
an injured Macho Man.
the whole '95 he seemed injured.
Mm.
Mean Gene after that interviewed the Macho Man Randy Savage about his upcoming match plus the main event. Now here's what I don't understand: why is your world champion in this cup, knowing full well he's got to face
You
a
got it,
number
yeah.
one contender
At
later
the end,
on in the night?
at the end of the night, I guess to make it even, because then whoever he fights, Macho Man had a match and they had a match.
You know what would have
I
been
don't know.
cool? Put the Giant in one of these matches.
Yeah.
He
I
wasn't
guess.
suspended. Only Hogan was for all
Uh,
that chair nonsense he was doing. Put the Giant in there and
well,
squash one of these guys.
Hogan calls in. Hogan calls he calls Mean Gene, right? I think he calls Mean Gene, and he called somebody because they had mentioned
Yeah.
it to Macho Man, like, oh yeah, Hogan called. He wants to know whatever.
Oh my God,
Okay.
Hogan, whatever. Anyway, the next match on the card with facing elimination is Hiroshi Tenzan versus the WCW champion Macho Man Randy Savage. And Bobby says during this match, if Tenzan wins this match, is he the number one contender? Do we put him in the match later? No, you don't. Why? Because it ain't
Titles on
happening.
titles on the line.
Now, it's a good thing. Most of these matches were double digit minutes. The longest one was Guerrero's match at almost 14
I think
minutes.
I think Macho Man was
Luckily,
really hurt. He was really hurt.
his arm,
Something was wrong. Like there was some
he
botches
was
in this
off a little
match.
bit.
It was off. Yeah.
Well, he's been working with Monday Nitro and everything, and now the old Dungeon of Doom. They had him working a lot
Hmm.
lately.
Hmm.
So that also could be taking effect. Because remember, this guy is not 30, 28, 30 years old anymore.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So it's going to take their effect on these guys. Even if they're not hurt, physically, they're going to be
Yeah.
worn. So, and again, putting him into this best of 7 series and having to defend the title later, I don't
It doesn't make
understand that.
sense.
You could have put any other guy in that roster in this. Where's Brian Pillman?
I guess they wanted the
I
champion
mean,
in
come
the
on.
tournament. Yeah. I guess they just. I get it.
In any event, Randy Savage's match was the second shortest of the cup. Thank God, because he has to fight later on. Savage with the elbow drop gets the pin. Of course, at this point, Bobby Heenan's having a meltdown about it because if this is lost to New Japan and he loses everything. I remember he said, "Did somebody come looking for Alexis?"
Right, yeah.
I loved it. So now we're tied 3-3 for the last match. Before it, Mean Gene interviewed the Nature Boy Ric Flair about the upcoming matches. Now our seventh match on the card for the cup, the seventh and deciding, no love lost here, rivalry renewed. Kensuke Sasaki, the WCW United States Champion, versus Sting. Wow.
Stinger.
And Sting could not get the momentum on this guy in their past fights when he even lost the U.S. title to this man. Now, during the match, Sasaki put Sting in a Scorpion Death.
How about Sting coming out with the U.S. flag? The crowd exploded when he came out with the
Well, at this
US
point,
flag.
you had to because again, this is Japan versus U.S.
Yeah.
This is the
He should
seventh
have
match.
He should have wore the red, white, and blue. I'm surprised that he didn't wear the red, white, and blue.
It would have been cool if he did.
Yeah, he should have for this match at least, But
But
came out
now,
the flag.
But here's another guy that could be wrestling 3 consecutive matches
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
That doesn't make any sense. But meanwhile, Luger can rest the because he was in the third match of the night, so he can rest. But Sting's got to go one, then the second one, and if he wins a third consecutive, I mean it's just ridiculous. But Sasaki putting him in a Scorpion Deathlock, I thought that was insult to injury, but Sting powered out of it. He applied his own Scorpion Deathlock to
Hmm.
Sasaki,
He's got him.
and he
He's
got the
got him.
submission.
Yeah.
So he was finally able to beat Sasaki. WCW wins the cup 4 matches to
Hmm.
3.
Everybody comes
Uh,
out,
yeah,
celebrates.
all the participants came out except for one was not there, and that was Savage, I believe. But they all came out to congratulate him. Mean Gene was in the ring to present the World Cup of Wrestling trophy. And like I said, 6 out of the 7 wrestlers were in
Hmm.
there. Macho Man Randy Savage was not, either because he's getting
No.
ready for later or he was going to kill Luger in the ring. My guess is he's going to kill Luger in the ring because they got their thing going. So now, following that, they did a video package for the upcoming match. Winner faces Savage for the title. This was the triangle match. It's Sting versus Lex Luger versus Ric Flair. The winner will face the Macho Man Randy Savage following that match as the main event of Starrcade. And what's funny is not only did you have Sting wrestle a 7-minute match against Sasaki, this match was 30 minutes,
Yeah.
just about 30 minutes between them.
Hmm.
And then if he wins, then you're talking about another
Hmm.
15, 20-minute match. But of course, the main event didn't even come close to that. Now, during that match, they had a coin toss to decide who would start the match. I never even saw a coin toss, to be honest. They even said that they have it in the
Yeah.
back. I mean, what was it?
Guess.
Sting and Flair started the match because Luger just said, "You
Right.
guys got it. I'll just stay out here." Now, they mentioned during this match, it was actually it was pretty impressive. 17 world titles between these 3 individuals. 11, Sting 5 times, and of course Lex Luger with his one. But don't matter, he's still in there.
Still in there.
Now, while the ref's not looking during this match, Flair using a chair on Luger. Hey, what the hell? I'm trying to get to the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm going to do what I can.
Dirtiest
It
player
don't
in the
matter.
game.
And this should have been a no DQ match anyway, to be honest. Just do what you got to do to get this victory.
Hmm.
Flair applying the figure 4 leg lock on Luger, but Luger reversing it, which was fun, which was good. Flair broke the hold. Uh, Flair tagged Sting in, so now it was Sting versus Luger.
Sting and
And
Luger, yeah.
I don't think it was a tag, more that
He
he
slapped
chopped
him.
him.
Yeah,
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 he
yeah, yeah.
slapped him. And now we finally get these 2 guys in the
Hmm.
ring, which we don't know what's going on with
Right,
them
right, right, yeah.
lately. Are you with
I
me?
mean,
Are
they're
you
still
against me?
friends, but yeah,
Yeah,
they're on
this whole thing, yeah.
shaky ground.
Luger puts Sting in the torture rack, so we know pretty much where we're going here. Now, okay, this is the asinine referee moment of 1995. You
I
with
know.
me?
Yeah.
And I know he has him in the torture rack. Okay, Nick Patrick's looking around,
Hmm.
puts his hands up, and the leg kind of brushes up against his arm.
Yeah.
Oh!
That's it.
And falls to the ground.
He's down.
I had my pen in the air. I said, "That's it. I'm done.
He's down.
I'm done."
He's down.
This is like you just ruined the entire night with this asinine shit. I mean, oh my god. He goes down. I call it bad acting. It was just ridiculous. Flair comes in, hits Luger in the back of the knee. Luger to the outside. Flair throws Sting over the top rope. You got the 2 of them outside.
Wakes up. Wakes the referee up.
Now here's where it gets different. This is where the storyline between Sting and Luger gets to a whole new level of what's going on here. They're getting counted out, both of them.
Hmm.
Sting is about to get in the ring. Luger grabs his arm. They both get counted out. Flair wins the match,
Yep.
which is ridiculous like that. And
It is pretty silly. It is pretty silly.
Sting's asking him, "What are you doing?" I said, "I was looking for help up." Were you looking for help up, or were you stopping him from getting the title match?
He was stopping him. I'm sure he was stopping him. But
Exactly. But makes it look like, oh, I was looking for help to get up. Okay. So in any event, Ric Flair wins that match and will go on to face Randy Savage yet again for the WCW title. I mean, wow. Okay. Now for the
That's all.
WCW Championship, it's Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Nice little thing happens here. Paul Orndorff comes down.
Yeah.
Now remember, the Four Horsemen gave him a
Right there. The
beatdown.
beat.
Well, I should say
Yeah.
Pillman
Yeah.
and Anderson gave him the beatdown
Yep.
on Nitro. And Doug Dillinger had to escort Orndorff to the back. I mean, you have a neck brace on, and you got crutches. What are you going to do? Besides hit him with the crutch, which I'm like,
Just
the hell with it, do it, do it. Never had that match on Nitro either.
didn't go
It's
anywhere.
just no, it didn't. It
He
could have.
retires. He has to retire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about that on the Monday Night Wars when they did it. Flair tried to use the megaphone
What the hell?
because Jimmy Hart is down
What
there.
was he doing there?
They had this was the kind of a handshake thing between the Dungeon and the Four Horsemen at this point.
Right, but it wasn't like officially like this isn't the alliance to end the Hulkamania.
No, it's not. We're nowhere close to that.
Right.
Yet.
So I'm like, what is he doing there?
Bobby was saying how Jimmy Hart gets a lot of champions.
Mm-hmm.
But Ric Flair's an 11-time champion. He doesn't need Jimmy Hart and ringside to help him win it. He can do this himself.
Right, yeah.
Especially at Starrcade. Look at his track record from the first all the way to now. The man does not need you.
Yeah, I don't know.
He is I will say, he is the Hulk Hogan. What Hulk Hogan is to WrestleMania, Ric Flair is to Starrcade.
Yeah.
So he does not need Jimmy Hart here. And Savage used it, busted Flair wide open. And then all of a sudden, now Brian Pillman and Chris Benoit come down. So he can't even get this match to be a straight up one-on-one. Let's settle
You know what
it.
kills me? The referee sees.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Pillman in front of him, or was it Benoit? One of them was right in front of him, right in the ring, right in front of the referee, and he doesn't DQ Flair.
No, he doesn't. Just pretends like he didn't see it.
Right.
And let's not, then Arn Anderson is down there. He hits Savage with an object, and Flair gets the pin. And now Flair's the world heavyweight champion, the WCW champion. Savage has been screwed.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the match, Pillman hits Savage with the title belt because Pillman at this point is off his medicine.
Yeah.
But Ric Flair is now the 12-time WCW champion, and I mean Savage has nothing to show for it but a trophy for the night. I don't know.
Pretty much.
I would have liked this match to have been just straight up one-on-one. Let's see who can get this win. Is it Savage or is it Flair? Leave the Horsemen out. Leave the Dungeon out. Let's do this mano a mano. And
well, I guess because Savage would have beat him, but I don't know.
Oh, no question about it. Savage would have beat him.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fine with storytelling. It's just some of these.
Unfortunately, Hogan, with his dates being out, can't even help. Not to say that he would have anyway run in to help him. But again, where was Sting?
Nowhere to be found. But I think they were still kind of.
They were on the outs a little bit too.
Yeah.
He couldn't trust them. This was this whole soap opera thing that they were doing on
Nitro.
So after Ric Flair wins the world title and everybody, they're off the air and whatnot, they did have one dark match following all of this, and that was for the United States Championship where Kensuke Sasaki defended the title against the one-man gang, and the one-man gang brought that title back to the U.S. as he beat Sasaki for the title. So now another one that's pretty much a little past his prime is the United States champion.
Yeah, which is kind of a weird win. You know, the funny thing about that is that we didn't get to see it because I think they aired it on a Saturday night. I think they ended up airing that match on a Saturday night.
Right, yeah.
And they restart the match. We didn't see that part where they restarted the match and then he lost. And it had to do with the bookers arguing with each other. It was like some sort of nonsense. Him like kind of saving face, but us here in the U.S. He won. One Man Gang won the championship, but in Japan he didn't. They restarted the match. Whatever. WCW.
So now what? One Man Gang is the number one contender?
I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ! I didn't even think of that.
Only in the eyes of them, certain people.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sasaki not only loses the Sting in the cup in the match number 7, but loses his title about an hour later. So.
See ya.
Yep.
Yeah. So, listen. Overall, I mean, it wasn't the greatest pay-per-view. I mean, like I said, the matches. Not like the matches were bad. It's just that there's no real.
It's not like on a Nitro. These guys came
Right.
invaded and got in the ring and said, "We're
Right.
going to take you out," type
Right, right,
thing.
right, right, right,
No tag team
right.
matches.
And
Leading towards it. Nothing of that.
I think the pay-per-view buys were really bad, if I
It,
remember correctly.
it
They
was,
were,
and only 8,200 in Nashville for this one.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
so yeah, this one. You said 94 was worse. I told you to wait.
yeah.
We
I still
waited.
think this one was better than 94. As far as the
Well,
in-ring quality, the
probably.
quality of the work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotta agree because
yeah. But I
the
understand what
Butcher
you're
in the
saying.
main event of their biggest pay per
Oh,
view.
oh Lord Jesus. Oh Lord.
Nah, nah, do this at a fall
Yeah,
brawl,
Lord Jesus. Yeah. All
Clash of
right.
Champions
Yeah.
style.
All right. Well, that's a review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys soon.
Bigger.